Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nina Arista. First, I will tell a summary of my fairy tale entitled Rapunzel. A man and his wife have longed for a child, and finally, the wife becomes pregnant. There's a beautiful walled garden behind their house, full of flowers and vegetables. One day, the wife spot a patch of lettuce, Rapunzel, and instantly develops a craving for it. She tells her husband she'll die unless he brings her some of the Rapunzel. That night, he climbs stealthily over the wall, picks a handful of Rapunzel, and hurries home. His wife loved the taste so much that her craving strengthened, and the husband proved the still summer Rapunzel. Unfortunately, the walled garden is owned by an enchantress who catches him on his second visit. The husband explains why he's there, and the witch agrees that he can pick as much Rapunzel as he wants if he promises to turn the baby over to her as soon as it's born. Time passes until finally the child is born. Instantly, the witch makes off with the baby, whom she names Rapunzel. When Rapunzel is 12 years, the witch imprisons her in a stone tower that has neither stairs nor a door. The witch herself can't visit Rapunzel unless the girl lets down her long braid to make a ladder. They continue in this way for several years. One day, passing prince hears Rapunzel singing in the tower and becomes desperate to meet her. He watches from behind a tree as the enchantress calls out Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down. The girls obey, and the witch climbs up to the window. That night, the prince goes to the bottom of the tower and uses the same words to call to Rapunzel. Down tumble her braids, and the prince quickly climbs up the tower to Rapunzel's room. The prince and Rapunzel soon fall in love and together hatch a plot to free her. The witch discovers the plot, chops off Rapunzel's hair, and banishes her to the woods. She then uses the shorn braids to lure the prince up the tower. When he arrives at the windows, the witch cackles that your daring little wife is lost to him and he will never see her again. In despair, the prince throws himself from the top of the tower. He lands in bramble patch and thorns scratch out his eyes. Blind and forlorn, he wanders alone for many years until he stumbles across the wilderness where Rapunzel and their twins, a boy and girl, have taken refuge. Hearing Rapunzel's sweet voice, he follows the song. When Rapunzel sees him, she bursts into tears and throws her arms around him. Her tears magically erase, the prince's blindness, he takes her and the children to his kingdom, where they live happily for many years. And the next I will explain my lesson plans. First, learning objective. Students are able to understand the meanings and example of narrative text properly and correctly. Students are able to identify the generic structure of the narrative text properly. And the next, students are able to answer questions about narrative text properly and correctly. And the next, learning materials. And this is a definition narrative text, characteristic of narrative text, generic structure of narrative text, orientation, complication, resolution, and reorientation. And this is example of narrative text. Rapunzel. Learning method, approach, scientific approach, method, communicative approach, technique, cooperative learning or in pairs. Learning media, laptop, markers, whiteboard. Steps. Teacher activities. A preliminary teacher activities. The teacher enters the room and greets students friendly. The teacher asks students to pray before starting the lesson. The teacher checks the presence of students. The teacher conveys the purpose of learning today. The teacher starts learning by asking first about the narrative text. Core activities. First, observe. The teacher explains the materials to students about narrative text and parts of narrative text. And the second, the teacher gives example of narrative text by explaining to students. Asking, the teacher gives the opportunity to students to ask questions that are not yet understood about narrative text. The time 5 minutes. Data collection. The teacher gives exercise to students by dividing students in the form of pairs. The teacher shares the story or narrative text with each partner and asks students to answer the question contained in the story. The teacher asks each pair to work on the practice question from the story. The teacher tells the representative of each group to answer the question. Confirmation. The teacher gives feedback to students by giving reinforcement in verbal from the students who have been able to complete their assignment. The teacher asks again about students' understanding gained during the learning process. The teacher asks students to draw conclusions to draw from material about narrative text. And the time 15 minutes. And the next, closing. The teacher provides motivation to students who are less active during the learning process. The teacher reviews again the learning that have been carried out. The teacher presents the learning plan and the next meeting. The teacher ends the learning activity with greetings. And the next, assessment of learning outcomes. Rubric assessment, reading and attachment, Rapunzel. And this is exercise multiple choice. Example, exercise multiple choice. And the next exercise, previewing and predicting. What are the names of husband and wife children from the story above? The answer is all answers are wrong. And the second, what was the name of the king's son that the witch? The answer is Rapunzel. Third, who is Mother Gothel? The answer is sorceress. Vocabulary knowledge. The word godless in sentence has the closest meaning of. The answer is disobedience. And the next, the word sorceress in sentence has the closest meaning of. The answer is witch. And the topic, what is the topic paragraph 1? The number is Rapunzel. Main idea, what is the main idea of 5 paragraph? The answer is Rapunzel grew up be a beautiful woman. Patterns of organization. The answer is cause and effect. Making inferences, what is the other opinion regarding the whole story? The answer is in the end, a kind person will get a happiness and finally summarizing the conclusion of the story is don't ever give up with your destiny. The truth will bring your in happiness to life. Thank you very much.